Good evening and welcome back to Lake Erie Speedway for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. This is going to be a full top 32 bracket. We're just going to run through the the first half of the 16 this evening, and then we're going to run 16 to a winner tomorrow afternoon. I'm Ben Bruno, joined in the booth by Zach Snyder. Zach, how we doing this evening?
Well, the weather's right. This is going to be your first bye run, which is unfortunate for Troy Manners. Gets a nice, easy top 32 pass on his way to 16 tomorrow. Troy is also our points leader, so nothing but benefits for him right now.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. Manners out front right now in the 2024 Great Lakes Pro-Am Series points standings. As he's going to head out here for this bye run, we'll let you guys just listen to that sweet Jay-Z music.
All right, taking a look at the track layout here. Coming out of grid, you have a straight line initiation into a big outside zone. It's very, very long. And you can see the green cone down there. That is your final initiation point. You must be in drift by the time you get past that cone. Then coming out of 1 to 2, you have these two zones in the middle of the raceway here that are almost forming like kind of an S. And I feel like that's going to be a real tight spot in tandem because you're carrying so much speed coming out of zone 1 into zone 2 that it's heavy braking in a very tight corner. And then as you can see, at the third zone, coming up against the bank right at the entry of the raceway there is a white line painted. That is the shutdown point. So once the cars are past that, anything that happens is no longer judged.
Yep, you can see, like Zach mentioned there, the shutdown right there at the end of that row of jersey barriers by the entrance to the track. So we'll see our first battle here in the top 32 bracket. Eric Canowitz in the white Yeet Fleet Mustang versus Andrew Wilder in the Scion.
Got to be mentioned too, Eric is the new addition to the Yeet Fleet. They teased it a couple weeks ago on Facebook, and as you can see, that new sticker on the side there in red, and good addition. I mean, Eric, when he's been running Pro-Am here, is an absolutely phenomenal driver.
Absolutely. One of the first couple times Eric ever came to Lake Erie Speedway, I got to drive with him quite a bit throughout the Nats weekend, and he is a good driver, that's for certain. I have an absolute blast every time that I get to chase him during the weekend. So we're going to see Canowitz here in the lead in front of Andrew Wilder.
Yeah, Andrew Wilder at the end of round 2, driving like a man possessed. I hope he carries that same energy into today.
Absolutely. Both of these guys hungry to get their first win in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Canowitz out front of Wilder, and they're off. Canowitz through the chicane, initiates into outside zone 1. Wilder good in chase here. Good job on the line. He sucks up right to the door in outside zone number 1. Now falling back just a little bit. Eric able to maintain that good line. Oh, lots of angle. Almost hits the wall. Comes out of drift. So Andrew Wilder unable to chase Canowitz there through that little pasta noodle looking outside number 2 and 3.
Not getting a replay here, but just to be noted. Oh, here we go. All right, going to take a look at the replay here. Good faint initiation there from Canowitz in the lead. Wilder a little bit behind, maybe a 1 or 2 car gap, but pulls right up on him. Finishing out zone 1, Canowitz maybe 1 or 2 tires off there right at the end, and then this big correction putting a whole bunch of angle into it, carrying so much speed into that second zone. And honestly, I would not put that on Andrew Wilder. I don't know what you really do in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, have to be able to have a followable lead for Wilder there, which he just wasn't able to get. So big mistake from Canowitz in the lead there. Now Andrew Wilder going to be out front of Canowitz in that white Mustang. Andrew Wilder initiates into outside zone number 1. Canowitz falling back on initiation. Wilder doing a good job of filling all of outside zone number 1. He gets out of there, putting LS Power down to the ground, and he's going to go 3-4 tires off in outside zone number 2. So 2 big mistakes on both sides here. Now keep in mind, this isn't a seating bracket either, so it really rises the question, do we see that again because of the mistakes, or was one mistake larger than the other?
Yeah, this is a top 32, so these guys are vying for position tomorrow in top 16. Going to take a look here at the replay. Wilder maybe maintaining 1 tire over the line there for most of that first zone, but 1 tire is not a 0. And then coming from 1 to 2, you can see how tight that second zone gets. That's a big breaking point. You have to scrub so much speed coming out of 1 to 2, and it looks like Andrew maybe just carrying a little bit too much.
Decision is in. We're going one more time between Wilder and Canowitz. One more time between Canowitz and Wilder here. Gonna be interesting. 2 big mistakes there, which is pretty uncharacteristic of these guys. We've seen Andrew Wilder be a little bit friendly with the K-rails in the past, but normally not really big mistakes, just little ones normally. So big mistakes on both sides of this one, Zach.
Yeah, I would say given this layout and the way that it is, I think that's going to be probably a bit of a theme moving forward. Coming out of 1, that it doesn't look that big on camera, but I can assure you that first zone feels like it is a mile long. And it's opening as you go, so you're picking up speed. And then coming from 1 to 2, that is a lot of speed you're going to have to take off. And 2 is a tightening corner. So you're going to come in wide and have to tighten up and get ready for that transition into 3.
So up next in our 32 bracket, we have Henry Donahue with the bye run. Unfortunately, Savannah Campbell unable to get her car ready in time here for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. If you're joining us on the live stream, thanks for joining us. Give it a share. We got a good bit of action left. We're just getting started, as this would have been our 3rd battle. It's going to be a bye run here for Henry Donahue. But give it a share. Tag a friend that needs to see the action. Again, this is a full 32 bracket. We're going to run all the way up to 16 this evening, and then tomorrow afternoon we'll be running 16 to a winner for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. As always, huge shout-outs to Distinct Drift for coming on board to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series and many others.
All right, we have Henry here on his bye run. A little bit of a lazy initiation there into outside 1, but not quite getting in there till the very end. See how he does on this difficult 1 to 2. Coming into that zone very early and then leaving it very early now, coming into 3. Into 3 maintains the entire zone just about perfect all the way through.
So 2 bye runs so far. We're going to see it one more time between Eric Canowitz and Andrew Wilder.
Coming out on the track now, we have Taylor Braun in the Fox Body Mustang and Josh Dennis in, I believe that's the K24 E46. Both of these drivers, Taylor and Henry, in our top 10 here for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, with Henry actually tied for 8 and 9. So this is kind of an interesting battle here. One of these guys will be moving ahead here in the standings.
Yeah, that's big. It's not often that you run into a points battle like that this early on in a bracket, I suppose. But so Joshua Dennis and Taylor Braun. Taylor Braun out front in the Limp Brisket Mustang. He initiates. Dennis falls back just a little bit on initiation here. Taylor doing a nice job of filling. Maybe a tire off for Taylor Braun in the lead. Joshua Dennis begins to apply the pressure. You can see a couple more tires off there in outside zone number 2 and 3 for Braun in the lead, but overall a pretty followable lead run there from Taylor Braun, and Dennis did a pretty good job. Maybe a little bit left to be desired in proximity here from the chase from Dennis.
Yeah, taking a look here at the replay, Taylor Braun coming out of outside zone 1 with maybe just one tire hanging over the line there, and then this difficult 1-2 transition actually comes into the zone behind the zone and then works his way back into it. And then outside zone 2, just getting a little bit wide, taking a couple of cones out. We're going to get those reset before we send the guys again. Going to switch places here. Josh is going to lead the way.
So far, a lot of the field struggling there in outside zone number 2. You can see it's an odd, yes, it tightens up late. Dennis out front now of Taylor Braun. Dennis initiates good into outside zone number 1, filling all of it. Taylor Braun cutting the line just a little bit to gain some proximity. Big jump here from Taylor Braun in outside 2, almost contact, and 4 tires off for Dennis in the lead. So the struggling continuing in outside zone number 2 for these guys.
Yeah, that outside zone 2 proving to be treacherous here for these drivers. And it's definitely a difficult transition, but you're going to have to slow down a lot. You got to scrub so much speed to make that work. And you can see a bit of a slow transition there from Dennis. Gets into the zone good and then just can't maintain that line, causing Taylor Braun to spin there in the chase. All right, giving you guys a side-by-side replay here of both runs. Josh has a good initiation, maintains that first outside zone, and then it looks almost to me here like that's a bit of a slow transition, maybe carrying a little bit too much speed, and Taylor just has nowhere to go and has to give it up there in the chase to prevent contact. All right, it looks like we're going to be going one more time here again between Josh Dennis and Taylor Braun. The judges deeming that mistakes on both sides causing a bit of a difficult chase there, so we're just going to run it again.
If you're not already, make sure that you head over to all of Lake Erie Speedway's social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure that you follow the YouTube channels at Lake Erie Speedway, and don't miss out on any of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series action. Hit that notifications bell. Make sure that you're not missing out. Again, if you're joining us on the live stream, thanks for joining us. This is a one more time battle here between Eric Canowitz and Andrew Wilder, as 2 mistakes for each of these drivers in their first battle. Now we'll see Canowitz leading Wilder for this one more time battle.
Yeah, with both these guys having a shot now to see how this layout is and how it works, hoping for a lot better outcome this time around, a lot more consistency. And I know there was practice earlier in the day, but if you're practicing during the day, you don't always get like the vibe of having someone actually chasing you in a competition.
Canowitz out front of Wilder. He initiates into outside zone number 1. Oh, Wilder very wide in outside zone number 1, now straightening in the chase position. Canowitz just got to keep this one together here. Oh, clips a cone into outside zone number 2, into outside zone number 3. Honestly, the best combo between outside zone number 2 and 3 that we've seen here in the top 32 bracket by Canowitz.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I was talking about, getting the actual sensation of driving in competition and having to actually maintain all the zones. And you can see Canowitz there making a big adjustment, scrubbing all kinds of speed, big handbrake pull, left foot braking his way into this outside zone number 2, and he maintains it beautifully all the way through. Good transition into 3. And I think that so far that is the best lead that we've seen tonight.
Absolutely. He entered right at the beginning of outside zone number 2 and maintained it all the way through. Even with that tight curve coming off of outside zone number 2, did an absolute unit of a job there coming out of there. I mean, we've seen it, guys able to get into it, but it's coming out of it that's the really hard part about it.
Yeah, we're going to flip him around now and get Mr. Wilder out in the lead, see if he has an answer for Mr. Canowitz in the Mustang as they leave the line. Canowitz leaving a big gap there from the line. Wilder initiates into outside zone number 1, maintaining all of that outside zone. Canowitz digging a little bit of line off there, trying to make up some space, and now that big transition into 2. Eric maintaining the zone behind him, but maybe just a little bit of understeer there. Andrew getting out of outside zone 3 clean and standing on it all the way through that final apron.
So we take a look at the replay here. Wilder initiates into outside zone number 1. Canowitz leaving quite a large gap through outside zone number 1. And you can see he tries to make up for it here in this transition in that power alley to outside zone number 2. And just cooks it in a little bit too hot, gets stuck in a little bit of understeer there. So, not the mistake that he needed to make there.
All right, give you guys a side-by-side view now, both runs. And you can see the difference in gap there coming into outside zone number 1. Wilder puts car lengths on Canowitz, but Wilder also goes outside of zone 1 in chase. So we will have to see how the judges view this. Canowitz definitely doing a better job there in outside zone number 2, but he also had that big mistake in his chase.
Almost complete straighten, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think he completely
correction.
straightened, but it was pretty close. Shout out to staff member Alex back there, making sure that we get the number off that cone for Eric's cone find there.
You guys can't see it on screen right now, but watching down here on the track, there's some kind of liquid there in outside zone number 2. The track workers are going to have to clean up. Not sure whose car that came out of, but it looks like it actually goes all the way up to 3. It's not on the racing line, but it is there.
So it looks like in the chase position, that would have been the line that Canowitz was on. So, oh yeah, it's starting to go down a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, so coming out of outside 1 into 2, there is a liquid trail, if you will, that you can see the track workers looking at there as they dry up outside zone number 2. Not sure what the fluid is, but these guys are going to get it dried up and taken care of here before we continue. Hearing now, they believe it to be power steering fluid, some kind of hydraulic fluid, which that would actually explain him coming into outside zone 2. If he lost power steering, these cars, the way that everything's set up. Oh, on the screen we have Eric Canowitz taking the win there. So hopefully he can get that car fixed before he has to come back out. But the way the front suspension is set up in most drift cars, if you lose power steering, it is a handful. So I can only assume that was a struggle for him.
So again, you know, on their first battle, we saw one big mistake aside. In the second battle, we see that again, but ultimately the tires off prevail in detriment to Wilder. So Canowitz will take home the win even with the bobble there in outside zone number 2. Have to imagine that, you know, how well he nailed that outside zone 2 and his lead played a little bit into it. But, you know, at the end of the day, bunch of tires off for Wilder and outside zone number 1, you have to imagine is the main reason behind that. So, again, for all of the event schedule at Lake Erie Speedway, head on over there as you're seeing on the live stream, www.lakeeriespeedway.com. We have events for just about everyone. We just had the Taste of Summer Festival with the steak cook-off. That was an absolute blast. And just before that, we have Monster Truck. So you don't want to miss out on the events here at Lake Erie Speedway. We still have several drift events left this year. So make sure you head on over and don't miss those drift events or other events as we take a look at the bracket as it sits right now.
Yeah, and as you can see on the bracket here, any driver outlined in yellow won their battle. So you have Troy Manners taking that win. Obviously, he had a bye run. Eric Canowitz and Henry Donahue also with a bye run here. As we move forward, our next – oh, we said the one more time now from Taylor Braun and Joshua Dennis. I forgot about that.
Yep. Well, you have a little bit of downtime here as the fast team cleans up that power steering fluid. Make sure that you're staying hydrated out there. Grab a water, and if you don't have one, head on over to the Rusty Wheel. Get yourself a drifter or a chicken waffle. It's really tough to miss at the Rusty Wheel. They just don't miss it over there. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple new menu items I saw Jesse post about in the Facebook page a couple days ago. So,
all right, taking a look here at the screen, we have the track layout. And you can see the track is in green, the zones are in white, and there is one decel zone coming from 1 to 2. And that 1 to 2 transition is a straight line, so you're going to have to maintain drift at least half of that distance coming out of 1 and then transition, and that decel zone is going to be critical in making outside zone 2 and 3 connect. As you've seen from Canowitz, that 1 to 2 in his lead was absolutely perfect. That is exactly what we want to see.
you can see also just that one decel zone before outside zone number 2. So really heavy on throttle layout here for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. If you're at home watching the live stream, same message for you guys. Head on out, grab yourself a beverage, use the restroom. We'll be right back after a couple messages from our sponsors.
Safety, comfort, and value is what we deliver with premium motorsports apparel from Velocita USA. We're here for you, the diehard blood, sweat, and tears race teams, putting on a show today. For your next fire suit, helmet, racing shoes, or gloves, give Velocita a call at 336-764-8502 or shop online at velocita-usa.com. And remember, drive fast and take chances.
Saturday, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway in Erie, PA, driven by Pro Waste. It's the return of Crash-O-Rama, presented by Dave Hallman Chevrolet, featuring school bus figure 8 racing, a wild and wacky boating camper trailer race, flagpole races, the unpredictable skid cars, a fan burnout contest, and much more. And for the first time ever, the world-famous Phantom Jet Car. Gates open at 5, the destruction starts at 7, but get there early for free rides in a real race bus. Kids 2 and under and parking are absolutely free. Crash-O-Rama, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway. It's the wildest show on wheels. Be there.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here.
I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushin.
I'm Matt Field. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver. Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it.
Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want. They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features. I drive Link.
We're shouting it from the mountaintop. $2,000 off all Tucsons. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai, everyone qualifies for $2,000 Hallman discount when you buy an in-stock 2024 Hyundai Tucson or lease a 2024 Tucson SEL all-wheel drive. Zero down, only $399 a month.
And all backed by Hyundai Owner Assurance and America's Best Warranty.
There's never been a better time to get into a Hyundai Tucson. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai.
Welcome back to Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. A full top 32 here. We're less than a quarter of the way through what we're going to be running here tonight. We're going to run all the way up to 16, and then tomorrow afternoon we'll be running through 16 to a winners. So far, we've seen one more time battle. I'd be led to believe that we're going to see the second leg of that one more time battle here when we come back, if not just after it. We have 2 people who have advanced. Eric Canowitz over Andrew Wilder. Troy Manners had the bye run. And Henry Donahue had a bye run. So those guys stapled into the top 16 here tomorrow. Again, special thanks to Formula Drift for sanctioning the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. The winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will take home their Pro Spec license and bragging rights to compete in Formula Drift. Also, special thank you to Link ECU for supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, and Distinct Drift for coming on board for the 2024 season as well. The Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is only growing, and on the live stream, if you were watching, you saw that awesome ad from one of last year's rounds of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. It's only growing. The Matt's Erie weekend, always a great time. We're honored to have the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series here at Drift, PA, Ohio, New York, and Lake Erie Speedway.
Yeah, I can't say enough about how amazing this facility is for putting on a Pro-Am Series, and prior to that, putting on just these Matt's Erie weekends. And where else do you get the opportunity to drive for 3 days straight with upwards of 150 people? You get classes, there's clinic days, so you can come out and figure everything out.
Booth camp.
And to give you guys just a quick breakdown here of our 2024 point standings, we have leading the way Troy Manners with 176 points. In second place, the Yeet Fleet's Casey Rodriguez with 148 points, giving him a 30-point deficit there on Manners. And then Mike Samson with 136. Zach Egan, this being his rookie year, with 120, bringing in 4th place. And then we have a 2-way tie there for what would be 5th and 6th between Matt Moncalian and Vinny Capola. And then the 80s. This is nuts. From 6, 7, 8, and 9, we have a 4-way tie with 80 points. So any of those guys able to move up from this weekend alone.
couple guys that we saw last round for round number 2 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series joining us again here at round number 3. Andrew Shorkey coming back over from Canada. He's sitting in 11th in the points right now. So, you know, with a big weekend here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, he could find himself way up there in the points, as we've seen him do that in the past here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. No longer necessarily following every round of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series that I know of right now, but, you know, drifting lots of big events, you know, the LZ World Tour event in Canada and all that good stuff. You know, I know Mike Samson was just at the Bro Down, or I'm sorry, what's
The
it?
Pro Bro Down
The
in
Pro
New
Bro
Jersey.
Down, yep.
Yeah, that taking place at Englishtown, which, do they do the Pro Bro-Am on the kart track? Or is it over on the Gauntlet now? Yeah, it is. It should be noted exactly how far this series spans. Because I know the name is Drift PA Ohio, New York, but I mean, you have guys from Connecticut, Ohio, New York, Canada, and then obviously you have Andriy Musienko, who is from Ukraine, driving here this weekend.
Yeah, he resides in Canada now, originally from the Ukraine. Got to talk to him in tech today again. Super sick VR6 swap under the hood of that car. I know he's got the intentions of making his way into Pro Spec. That's his goal. As we get to take a look at the live stream comments here, Miranda Parker, who lost the fluid? Eric Canowitz lost the fluid. That's power steering fluid. Jennifer McBride. I know, I believe that's Grayson's family member. Not sure if it's his mom or an aunt or extended family, but thanks for joining us on the live stream, guys. Thanks for dropping a comment. Like I said, make sure you tag your friends that shouldn't be missing out on the action. If you're just joining us, we're not even a quarter of the way through the first half of the bracket. We're going to run from 32 to 16 tonight and 16 to a winner tomorrow.
Seeing there on the YouTube comments, Chris Schmall saying Pro Bro Down is on the road course. And that is something that, if you get the chance, take the drive out there. New Jersey, Englishtown, their road course specifically, their weekends are some of the rowdiest drifting that I think you can watch on the East Coast.
We got Travis in the comments here, enjoying being the annoying guy on the live stream way more, he says. We're missing you, brother. I know you're missing us, but you won't say it, so we'll give that to you. Supporting his teammate Mike Samson here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Shout out to the Swamp Kids, Tim Tucci, and all the boys. We got John Jank, Yeet Fleet representing Casey Rodriguez in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Alan Boss was going to run the whole Great Lakes Pro-Am Series this year. Unfortunately, had a couple of mishaps in his Formula Drift Pro Spec rounds that haven't completely allowed that to happen. But we did get the honor to see him go up against Casey Rodriguez here in a round this year. So shout out to Yeet Fleet. I know Tom Perner's always watching and having a good time. Adjust the booth cam here. Again, if you weren't with us before, as you can tell, hopefully by my moving lips, I'm Ben Bruno. This is Zach Snyder, Team Vacation teammates. It's been an honor to be up here in the booth, especially with Zach. Before Zach, our other teammate, Brian O'Connor, moved out, RIP Brian. He was hurting bad that he wasn't able to be here this weekend. So shout out to Brian and Stacy in our island branch of Team Vacation.
Yeah, decided to leave us and move to Long Island, New York, and have his fancy job. Yeah, talking about Alan Boss specifically, though, I mean, I don't know if anyone else pays attention to FD. I would assume that if you're here, you at least have some kind of shallow eye on it, but proving that you can indeed 50-50 a 350Z on a K-rail.
Quick shout out here. Sorry to sidetrack you there, but Adam Heichman, Prospect driver, former competitor here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, sat right where you were sitting. I got to talk to him. Absolute blast. Adam, I've seen the social media you've been posting. That stuff's killer, dude. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, huge shout out to all the guys that are, making content, because I can only assume how much stress that has to be to go to like an FD weekend or even a Pro-Am weekend and film everything and then edit everything, post it.
Swamp Kids is just showing out heavy here in the comments. Travis, Timmy Tucci, Brett, who dropped an F. So thanks for everybody joining us here on the live stream. If you're here with us at Lake Erie Speedway, we hope that you're having a good time so far at Summer Mats Erie. I know I've really enjoyed the layout. I really like where outside zone number 2 is here in the Mats weekend, just able to throw it in there, get on into that where outside 3 is, and then carry it through the sweeper. But ultimately, and as you guys know if you know me, you can probably find me near a wall trying to scumbag you to get closer to it. So,
yeah, giving these guys a sight lap here so they can see how much the grip has changed from them cleaning up whatever was on the track. I don't see it being a huge issue in outside zone number 1. I don't think it goes any further than the end of that zone, but 1 to 2, they have to transition across that floor dry into 2, and 2 is full of it. So going to be an interesting battle here between Taylor Braun and Josh Dennis.
Taylor Braun, a.k.a. Smoked Ham, in the lead here in front of Joshua Dennis in that K-powered BMW. That thing's awesome. Another, pro-spec-worthy car, I would say. And they're off. Taylor Braun in the lead. He initiates into outside zone 1. Dennis applying the pressure here through outside zone number 1. Falling back just a little bit out of the pocket. Good transition here by both drivers. Taylor Braun just a touch wide in outside zone 2. And Dennis parks it on lock there in outside zone number 2. We'll have to see in the replay exactly what happened there, whether it was a Taylor thing. I didn't really see it live time.
Yeah, taking a look here at the replay. Through outside zone 1, I mean, maybe a 1-car gap between the two. Taylor staying in that zone all the way through. Then this big transition, Taylor scrubbing a whole bunch of speed, trying to stay in that zone, putting a bunch of angle in it. And I think maybe just adjusting for the angle that Taylor had to use there to maintain that zone might have kind of sidetracked Dennis in the chase.
So we flip them around here. Get ready to send them as the starter, Brian Reichert, getting ready to send the boys.
All right, just taking a minute here to get organized so we can send these guys. All right, we see thumbs up, and they have left the line. Josh Dennis going to lead the way. Maybe a 1-2 car gap there between the two. Dennis throws it in. Taylor Braun not quite maintaining a gap. There's a 2 or 3 car gap between the two from 1 to 2. Dennis, that big transition, scrubbing off a whole bunch of speed. Taylor sucking right up to the side of that E46 now. Coming into outside zone number 3. Good correction there by Taylor Braun in the chase to make up some of that gap and get nice and close to Dennis.
Take a look at the replay here. Dennis, good job through outside zone number 1. Nice and wide, using all of it. Taylor falls back a couple car lengths here into outside zone number 2. Really, really good job by Dennis in the lead on outside zone number 2 and 3. But, you know, with the focal point being outside zone number 2, Dennis did an absolute killer job there.
Yeah, taking a look here at the side-by-side. You can see in outside zone number 1, the gap's not really being a whole lot different until the end of the zone there. Josh gets much closer to Taylor Braun. Then coming into outside zone number 2, Josh in chase comes a little, maybe even 2 tires off there, maybe 3. And then outside zone number 3, both cars in the lead doing a great job. On your screen there, you can see Joshua Dennis going to take the win there over Taylor Braun. And pulling up to the line now, we have Elliott Rose and Zach Egan.
Elliott didn't join us here for round number 2 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. I believe he was out at Grid Life in an absolute heater on the way out from Taylor Braun. So Elliott gonna chase Zach Egan. Zach Egan in that total loss BMW. He initiates into outside zone number 1. Nice job in outside zone number 1. Gets a little bit deep, forces him out a little bit early. Elliott doing a good job here, maintaining about a 1-car gap into outside zone number 2. Egan does a great job as Elliott loses just a touch of proximity through outside 2 and catches up in outside 3.
All right, taking a look here at the replay. Zach Egan, good initiation to outside zone 1. Elliott Rose, maybe a 1-car gap there throughout outside zone 1. Maintained all the way through there. Into outside zone number 2. Egan transitioning a little bit early and getting into that zone pretty late. A little bit of a correction there by Elliott to make up that gap. And then in outside zone 3, absolutely great job by both guys. And we'll switch them around here, and Elliott's going to lead the way now.
Elliott Rose with that supercharged LS power out front of Zach Egan in the turbo BMW. Initiates an outside 1. Really good job here from Elliott through outside zone number 1, trying to eliminate that outside white line. Lots of speed into outside zone 2. Checks up hard and misses a lot of outside zone number 2. Egan's able to close back in and throw a lot of angle at it here in the chase through outside 3. Really good job from Zach Egan there through outside zone number 2 to adapt to Elliott Rose's lead.
Yeah, looking here at the replay, Elliott getting into outside zone 1 on a nice line. Egan maybe staying a little bit shallow, trying to keep up with that big LS power. Now coming into outside zone number 2, Elliott Rose never really getting into the zone, running very shallow, but giving Zach all the time in the world to get right next to him. And outside zone 3, both cars doing a good job. A little bit of contact there after the run.
Let us know who you're rooting for, where you're watching from. I know I saw the Egans in the live stream chat. Hometown family here in Northeast Pennsylvania.
And pulling up to the line now, we have Xander Nappi.
So up against Xander Nappi is supposed to be Andrei Musenko. I saw him ripping in practice earlier, not sure if he had some type of mechanical failure.
Seeing up on your screen there, we have 2 votes so far for Zach Egan. He's going to take it. And it is unanimous. Zach Egan takes the win there over Elliott Rose. All right, hearing now that Andre having a mechanical failure, not able to make this run, so Xander's going to get a bye here. And it should be noted on your screen, it says he is in a 2JZ E36. He is not. He is in a Corvette, which is his backup car.
Yeah, in tech he said lost the power plant in his regular comp car. Didn't want to break out the Corvette quite this early. But here he is into the top 16 with a bye run, unfortunately, with that mechanical failure for Musenko. And a good run, too. Filled pretty much all the zones. Did a really good job in outside, too. You know, it's just been so hard for these guys. And, you know, now especially with that speedy dry down on that power steering fluid there, it's starting to get cleaned up a little bit, but I'm sure it's not easy to see the beginning of outside 2 anymore.
Yeah, coming out on track here, you have Matt Moncalian and Jacob Schuster in what I believe is a borrowed car, so we'll see how he does in that E36.
He did indeed borrow that car. So we'll see how he's able to do here with not a lot of familiarity with that car. Obviously, normally driving a BMW, but a V8 powered one. So Matt Moncalian out front of Jacob Schuster.
Yeah, not sure what Schuster has for a power plant in that E36, but I know for a fact that the K-Series that is in that 350Z makes a whole bunch of power, so we will see what he does here in Chase. This layout, I would say, though, is favorable for a lower-powered car, with the first turn being the exception.
Matt Moncalian initiates into outside zone number 1. Right on that outside white line, putting that Honda power to work as Schuster really cutting the line here in a complete straighten for him in the chase, and he's going to go around. So Moncalian just got to finish this one out clean. As we mentioned there, Schuster, not a lot of time in that car, borrowing it from Tom. So, you know, good friend there in Tom for, loaning out the drift car for the comp.
Yeah, taking a look here at the replay, you have Matt Moncalian in the lead, staying in that first outside zone all the way through, and then this big transition through outside zone 2 is where it goes wrong for Schuster. Moncalian doing a great job, though, in outside 2 and 3. I would say one of the cleaner lead runs that we've seen tonight.
Yeah, especially on the pace there. You know, there is a decel zone there leading into it, but nice and smooth there, carried good speed all the way through it. Didn't have to check up at the end. So now Schuster out front of Moncalian. Schuster initiates into outside zone number 1. You can see Matt leaving a little bit of a pocket here. Doesn't want to make any mistakes in this chase position. Schuster laying down a good lead run. Comes up short on outside zone number 2. And then recoups it for outside zone number 3 as Moncalian applies the pressure on the way out.
Yeah, and just from the way it sounds like that E36 is stock power, and this is a big layout for a stock power BMW. But Schuster doing a good job in outside zone number 1. Nonetheless, Moncalian leaving a bit of a gap there, but he knows he has a big advantage coming into this chase. And then into outside zone number 2, not quite getting out to it is Schuster in the BMW. But getting back online there for outside zone 3, giving Moncalian the chance to get right on the door of that BMW. And Matt Moncalian will take the win over Jacob Schuster here tonight.
So up next, an all-Canadian battle here. Brad Paauw in the yellow LS-powered S chassis versus Ryan Reese in the sweet Jay-Z music.
Yeah, both of these guys having absolutely zero mechanical sympathy for these cars. I absolutely love the way that Ryan Reese drives. I've driven with him a bunch. He's a big angle, whole bunch of wheel speed. And Brad Paauw is not shy of the skinny pedal either. So I can only assume these guys have driven together before. This is going to be a very close battle.
Yeah, Brad has been having some tough luck in the first couple rounds here at Lake Erie Speedway. They told me in tech that thing's dialed in. Reese is going to initiate into outside zone 1. Oh, a little bit slow to initiate by Reese. Paauw almost going completely out of outside zone number 1. Reese laying down the smoke screen out front of Paauw here. Nice job in outside zone number 2. Maybe just a touch shallow as Paauw's able to reel it back in. I'm really interested to see the initiation in the replay here.
Taking a look at it, you have Ryan Reese up front. Bit of a handbrake, a flick in there, and then Paauw maybe just blowing the line out a little bit, not quite getting the car to rotate there for initiation. But you can see what I was talking about there by Reese, absolutely smoking out the chase. And Paauw cutting that line off from 2 to 3 to try and get up next close to that chaser.
So we flip them. Brad Paauw now in front of Ryan Reese as with this Lake Erie Speedway sunset off of beautiful Lake Erie has started to settle like almost head on to the drivers here initiating into outside zone number 1. So the conditions here at the Speedway this evening rather treacherous for these guys between 1 and 2. Brad Paauw initiates into outside zone 1. A little bit shy of outside zone 1 for Brad Paauw. Ryan Reese falling back about 2 car lengths in outside zone number 1. Oh, a big line cut for Reese in the chase here as Paauw ends up a little bit wide and misses most of outside 3.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at it there in the replay, but I'm pretty sure that Reese on that transition between 1 and 2 maybe got cut off a little bit there by Paauw. Taking a look at it, big gap there from Brad Paauw in the lead. But you can see this transition. I think Reese was shooting for the zone, and Paauw maybe cutting the line off a little bit there caused that big mistake there in the chase. And then through 3, cleaning things up a little bit there to finish the run.
Decision is in. Ryan Reese will advance unanimously over Brad Paauw. So far, if you weren't with us to this point, we're only going to run up to the top 16, and then tomorrow evening we'll be running 16 to a winner as Brad Paauw burns him down on his way off track. But up next, we're going to see Casey Rodriguez in the Yeet Fleet Nissan 350Z.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a battle here between Paul Robinson and Casey, but walking on the pitch day, I heard that Paul's car actually completely locked up on him. So some kind of mechanical failure there inside the engine. Wouldn't even turn over. You turn the key and it would not even hit the starter. So
yeah, it's a bummer. Paul, my former teammate, and actually built part of that car in my garage. But Casey Rodriguez getting a little bit of sight added here for tomorrow. Let you hear that LS power scream. And a really, really good job for Casey through outside zone number 2 there on the bye run. Almost textbook of what the judges would be looking for there as he just rowdies his way off track here after the bye run. He's going to be locked into 16 here tomorrow.
On track now, you see Adam Bergener, supposed to be against Mr. Alan Boss, but unfortunately St. Louis took the 350Z out of commission there.
.8 liter under the hood of the S14 for Adam Bergener. I got to battle him a couple weekends ago at Paynesville Speedway. Got to drive with him a bunch here at the Mats Erie weekends over the last couple of years. Love driving with Adam. Super stoked to see him out here competing with these guys. And really love his car too, you know, nice, clean, kitted, nice sounding, full exhaust LS car, unlike mine.
Yeah, Adam's a very consistent driver, and like Ben said, he comes out to every Mats Erie weekend. He runs Pro-Am. 4.8 liter LS, I believe. Is that a D-stroke 4.8 from what I understand? So should rev to the moon, and he has no sympathy for that engine at all.
So up next, Jordan Becker in the white S14 here with the purple accents against Colin Gilly of Team Total Loss. Also got to battle Colin at Paynesville a couple weekends ago in the final battle. Colin took home the win, so really happy to see him get those bugs worked out of the car. I know he was having some tune issues previously that he had been working on.
Knowing both of these drivers and their styles, I would say this is a checkers or wreckers kind of battle here.
Yeah, definitely. These guys are going to want to send it here. That's for certain. They always do. So make sure that you don't head anywhere as Jordan Becker out front of Colin Gilly initiates into outside zone number 1. Nice initiation from Becker. Gilly a little wobble in the chase, but really nice proximity here through outside zone number 1. Oh, and now he applies it in outside 2. Nearly a tap from Gilly in the chase into outside zone number 3. Keeps the pressure right there. Absolutely killer job in the chase position by Colin Gilly. Could not have been done without a good lead from Jordan Becker, so really good job for him in the lead.
Absolutely fantastic job by both of these guys here. Jordan right on line and outside zone, right where he needs to be, and then this difficult transition from 1 to 2. Colin getting right there on that rear quarter of the S14 and staying with him all the way through outside zone number 3, and it looks like maybe giving him a little tap there just to let him know that I am here.
Colin did participate in Alan Boss's clinic here. I got to see him and Paul Robinson duke it out all day, so those guys got tons of tips and pointers from Alan on their lead-in chases, and you can see it showing here for Colin Gilly. Colin Gilly out front of Jordan Becker. Gilly initiates into outside zone number 1. Becker slides a bit wide and a big bobble in the lead from Gilly as he gathers it back in and fills all the rest outside zone 1. Becker trying to close up on the proximity into outside zone number 2. Gilly does a good job. Contact into 3. Probably some damage to the suspension there of Jordan Becker.
Yeah,
bent tie rod on the S chassis.
Yeah, maybe a broken tie rod there.
As you mentioned, you knew these guys were going to send it, and that's exactly what happened. You know, Jordan falls back a little bit here after the bobble on initiation, and then you can see the rest here as he tries to suck it up here into outside zone number 2. Colin comes up shallow, has to pour a ton of angle at it coming out of outside zone number 2.
Yeah, taking a look here at the side-by-side. Colin has a good initiation into outside zone number 1, and then Jordan, just a little bit of a mistake there. Big correction trying to get back up to the door of that BMW. And then from 1 to 2, Colin not quite getting out to that zone, puts a bunch of angle in the car to try and make it to outside zone 3. And I think Becker maybe just overstepping his chase there a little bit, trying to get close. And then the front end of the E46 just taking out the wheel on the S14.
So up next we have Grayson McBride joining us from Canada, and Kevin Ferraro in the Drift Nuggets. He's a regular here for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series and all the Mat Series weekends. He just finished up the sweep bracing for the diff instead of spending all the money on it.
All right, on the screen now you see Colin is going to take the win there over Jordan Becker. Unanimously. Should be noted too, Grayson driving an LS-powered Corolla, which is a rocket ship of a car. Kevin's car, being a turbo D36 with essentially no weight in it, is also very, very fast. So I'm assuming that outside 1 into 2 is going to be a difficult transition for both of these guys. They're going to carry a bunch of speed through outside zone number 1.
Yeah, and both of these guys are no joke. It's a shame that we're going to miss out on one of them tomorrow for the top 16 as everything gets clear and we send them. Grayson McBride out front of Kevin Ferraro. A good jump out of the chute for McBride. A little bit of understeer, ends up putting him wide. Kevin follows him that way in outside zone number 1. Through the transition here, Kevin closing up on proximity. Grayson comes up just a little bit shy on outside zone number 2 as Kevin continues to apply the pressure through outside zone number 3.
Yeah, taking a look here at the replay, Grayson pulling maybe a 2 or 3 car gap there into outside zone number 1, and just a little bit of understeer maybe there on transition from both cars actually. And then Kevin cutting the line there, trying to make up a little bit of that gap now into outside zone number 2. Grayson with a good transition, but not quite getting into that zone. Kevin checking up, trying to maintain the line. Now into outside zone number 3. Grayson maintains all of 3. Kevin, little bit less angle there, trying to make up some of that, but good job nonetheless from both drivers.
We flip him. Kevin Ferraro out front of Grayson McBride. Good initiation here for Ferraro. Grayson McBride applying the pressure in outside zone number 1, starting to creep towards that front tire. Really good job in the chase position following Kevin Ferraro into outside zone number 2. Great job for Kevin in outside 2. Grayson just not giving up on the door of Kevin Ferraro. Put your hands together for Grayson McBride and Kevin Ferraro.
Take a look now at the replay of Kevin here leading the way, staying real close. Grayson in the chase there. Handbrake entry by Kevin. Nice straight line. Gets Grayson every opportunity in the world to get right next to the E36, and he takes advantage. Coming out of outside zone 1 into 2, that's a difficult transition for a chase driver, but Grayson handles it beautifully. Coming into 3, a little bit of a slow transition there just to maintain the speed in the Corolla, but absolutely phenomenal job. I think that might have been one of the best chases that we've seen so far.
Absolutely. I'm no judge, but, on one side, Kevin's got the better lead. On the other side of it, Grayson's got the better chase here, so tell a lot to these drivers about what these judges are looking for, especially if you've made your way into the top 16 already.
On your screen now, you see the battle between Kevin Ferraro and Grayson McBride. Kevin is going to take it unanimously, moving into the top 16.
So Grayson, again, we saw this earlier in the bracket. Tires drop there, and outside zone number 1 is going to weigh a lot on the decision and points, earned in that zone. So got to imagine that's why Grayson does not move on. Mike Samson in front of Butters drifts. Oh, big understeer for Mike Samson into outside zone number 1, but does a good job of regaining it and filling all of outside zone number 1. Aaron Farrell in the chase position. doing a good job mirroring the line here. Oh, comes up just short and straightens in the chase. So, got to figure that initiation. We'll see here in the replay, but I'd say a mistake aside here.
Take a look at the replay. I'm not really sure what happened on initiation there for Samson. The car looked like it wanted to drive straight, but he forced it to angle. Good job there by
power
Ferrell.
steering.
Oh, I guess no power steering in the E30. But Ferrell doing a good job there in chase, and then right here it looks like maybe a loss of power there in the G. I know that Aaron has been having some mechanical issues with that car. He's been fighting some gremlins here on that LS swap, so maybe some of those coming up here. Going to switch them around, and Aaron's going to lead the way there on Samson, having a conversation with the starter, Mr. Brian Reichert.
So we're going to see a hiatus in this battle between Mike Samson and Aaron Ferrell. Mike Samson calling his competition timeout. And with that, that is Mike Samson's one and only competition timeout for the whole weekend. So going into 16 tomorrow, if he makes it, will not have a comp timeout to use tomorrow. As we're starting to see that photo hour type sunset set in here behind the Speedway. It's a beautiful evening here in Northeast Pennsylvania at Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste. If you're not already, make sure you follow those things right there, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Lake Erie Speedway. Don't want to miss out on any of the action that Lake Erie Speedway has to offer. Head on over there to www.lakeeriespeedway.com. Check out the schedule. We got all kinds of different stuff. Make sure you pop on over to YouTube and hit that follow and notification bell at Lake Erie Speedway and at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series so that you never miss any of the action here at Lake Erie Speedway. None of this would be possible without a ton of really great sponsors here at the Speedway. Our biggest one, Pro Waste. Huge thank you to them, as well as all the supporters to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, Link ECU, Formula Drift, Distinct Drift, the Rusty Wheel for supporting us every weekend when we're here drifting.
On the line now, on the live feed, you see Mo Alderman, who I got the chance to talk to today in text, that he's been fighting some gremlins there in that 240. So hopefully everything comes together for him here, because I know that having Fred Maybach behind you can be a nerve-wracking experience. He is an amazing chase driver in that BMW.
Absolutely. We've seen Fred excel here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. He's had a tough go at it here this year, that's for certain, but we know that he's capable of it. Mo Alderman, this will his first year in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Mo Alderman initiates into outside zone number 1, drops 2 tires off. Fred follows him way out there, at least 3 off for Fred. But following that lead that Mo had there in outside zone number 1, into outside 2, Mo gets real wide, leaves real early. As, early on we see it here in every round of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. This round more so, if there's a mistake in the lead position on initiation, the chase driver really struggles to get back in there. So normally it's just mistakes around, but.
Taking a look here at the replay, Mo Alderman out front, putting maybe 1 or 2 tires off, probably 2 tires in that first outside zone, and then his transition from 1 to 2 gets into the zone, and then I don't know if the car's just got a bunch of grip in it and he kind of drives out of it, but Fred Maybach behind him trying to make up for that line, causing a bit of a gap there into outside zone number 3.
Shout out Brian Stoneham, the homie. Fred Maybach in front of Mo Alderman now. Fred initiates into outside zone 1. Much cleaner job for Fred in the lead here. Mo applying the pressure in outside zone number 1. Good job in transition here as well. Mo ends up with a little bit more angle. Fred loses the bumper. Good job in outside zone number 2. And Mo unable to recover on his way out of outside zone number 2. So, couple of mistakes between the front and the back of this one.
On the replay here, you have really nice weight transfer there from Fred in the lead to get that initiation going. And it gives him the chance to maintain a nice clean line, nice speed all the way through outside zone number 1. Good transition into 2, and it looks like Mo there getting inside the line just a little bit, and it causes him to get a little bit closer to Fred Maybach than he would like to be, and Fred transitions in front of him, ends up forcing him to correct there.
So tough night for the judges here in the first part of our top 32 bracket. Drivers not making it easy for these guys to make decisions. We've seen some one more times because of the mistakes. So Mike Samson called the timeout because he had debeaded a tire. You cannot replace that tire in a competition timeout. So he's just going to run the debeaded tire here in the chase position against Aaron Ferrell. Some real commitment. I mean, I really wouldn't expect a whole lot less from him if I'm being honest.
All right, Aaron Ferrell going to lead the way here. We'll see how this pans out for Samson with 3 tires on the E30. Looking at the screen here, we are going to have a one more time there between Fred Maybach and Mo Alderman.
So the second leg of this battle between Aaron Ferrell and Mike Samson about to get underway. We saw Mike Samson lead, now going to be in the chase. Really like to see from the judges here their call there, keeping the consistency. You know, when we're just seeing a copious amount of mistakes, you know, let's see that one more time. You know, we got to have something to decide on. So Aaron Ferrell out front of Mike Samson. Aaron initiates into outside zone number 1. Good job in outside 1. Sam's doing everything he can, leaning on that left front rim through outside zone number 1. Sends it into outside zone number 2. Surprisingly, the attitude on the E30 pretty good as Aaron Ferrell lays down a good lead run and runs away a bit, you know, with a one-tire advantage over Mike Samson. It really shows here in the second leg of this battle. But the send factor in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is nothing short of a phenomenon.
Mike Samson will not let it go. He's surprisingly good in lead for only having 3 tires on the car, one of which is debeaded, being a steer tire and maintaining it nonetheless. That blows my mind. You could not convince me to come out on track with 3 tires on my car.
So up next, we're going to see Vinny Coppola in that full lock BMW versus Joshua Leatherbarrow in the supercharged LS BMW.
Both of these cars supercharged. Vinny running
Indeed.
that. Yeah, Vinny has a supercharged M52 under the hood of the BMW. just waiting here for a decision on that Mike Samson, Aaron Ferrell battle. Take a look over here at the live stream, see what everyone's talking about. Jennifer McBride with the So Proud of You, Grayson. Absolutely phenomenal job by him tonight. I hate to see him go out so early because he is a great driver to get to watch.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he's joined us here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. He always puts on the show. Pretty sure it was round 2 there, for the top 32 round that he went real deep in the bracket. And just like we saw tonight, just, killer chases all of round 2. So decision is in. Aaron Farrell's going to advance over Mike Samson. So Vinny Coppola in front of Joshua Leatherbarrow next as Mike Samson tries to finish off what he's got left on that set of skins on the E30. Glad to see Leatherbarrow making it back out in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Vinny's been killing it this year. Looking to do that here in outside zone number 1. Coppola initiates. Good job trying to repaint the white lines there in outside zone number 1 as Leatherbarrow a 2-car deficit into outside zone number 2. Big checkup late for Coppola allows Leatherbarrow to close back in through 3. So overall, not a bad battle here between Coppola and Leatherbarrow.
Take a look here at the replay. Vinny out front, good initiation into outside zone 1, maybe 1 tire off there in the middle of that zone. Josh leaving a little bit of a gap there, coming in from 1 to 2. And then Vinny, this big transition into 2 and then putting a bunch of angle in the car, trying to make that second zone work. Josh, though, dealing with it well in the chase and making up a little bit of ground there in the process. Going to switch around here and let Josh lead the way.
Josh Leatherbarrow in front of Vinny Coppola. They're through the chicane. Initiating into outside 1. Using all of outside zone number 1 is Josh Leatherbarrow in the lead position. Vinny trying to close up the proximity here in transition. Does a good job, falls back, and a big straighten for Vinny in the chase as Leatherbarrow finishes it out. So got to figure a big advantage here after the second leg of this one to Leatherbarrow with that big mistake from Vinny into outside zone number 2.
Taking a look here at the replay. Big correction there by Vinny in the chase. A lot of understeer coming through outside 1. And then from 1 to 2, not really sure what happens there for Vinny in the chase, but the car straightens and then he understeers into 2. Leatherbarrow, though, in the lead, maintaining a good line through 2 and 3.
Taking a look at the side-by-side here, you can see real similar situation to some of these other battles we've seen with, mistakes being made on both sides. So we'll see what the judges think here. Wave, guys, you're on camera here in the front grandstands. Right underneath the booth there, we got Matt Moncalian just hanging out there. Skirt Reynolds. Kristen and Eric, the Yeet Fleet, the Boss Man, and the Boss Mama hanging out up front. Have had the pleasure of having both of them up here in the booth. Awesome conversations with both of them in their endeavors into the FD ranks of Pro Spec. Is up next, we have Andrew Shorkey coming back over to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series from Canada against Cameron Downard. Cameron also ran at Paynesville a couple weeks ago, went deep.
All right, on your screen there, you see the voting from the judges is going to result in a one more time there for Vinny and Josh, with Josh getting himself a 0 in the chase for outside zone 2, coming into it 4 tires off. Travis Bond there in the YouTube comment feed saying Canada's prized possession for Andrew Shorkey. And I can't agree more. This guy comes over here to party for every event, and absolutely phenomenal driver.
Shorkey out front of Downard. Shorkey spicy initiation on outside zone number 1. Comes up just a bit short and now filling all of it on the way out. In transition, Downard has left the area code and is going around behind him, so Shorkey just needing to finish this one out, as Downard's going to be at a huge deficit here heading into his lead run.
Take a look at the replay here. Good initiation by Shorkey, but maybe just a little bit shallow into 1 and then maintaining that slightly shallow line all the way through that first turn. This transition, not really sure what happens to Downard in the chase. He had a good line coming out of 1 and then just over-rotated his transition into 2. We're going to switch him around here and let Cam lead the way for Mr. Shorkey. Do not let that Cressida fool you either. Giant turbo JZ under the hood of that thing, making a whole bunch of power.
Absolutely. Downard's JZ is also, I mean, it's just tough to go wrong on a JZ. I don't know if I've ever heard a bad sounding JZ. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is considerably unpleasant to listen to at a drift track, and that's not it, brother.
If you have a straight pipe BMW, we're looking at you. I love all of you guys, but putting a muffler on that thing.
So that's, Scott Petty got his chaser, and I was over there drooling on it before we came over, and he's like, you want to take a ride in it over to the booth? And I'm like, yeah. We go down the street, and he hits, a 1-2 shift or a 3-4 shift, and I go, this is the first JZ car I've ever ridden in, so I got track time with him later tonight. Downard out front of Shorkey now. Downard comes out of outside zone 1 just a little bit early. Shorkey applying the pressure, putting on a show for you guys here tonight. Oh, a big straighten from Shorkey into outside zone number 2. The aggression comes back to get him again there in outside zone number 2. So didn't really see that coming. Looked like he got hard up on the brake and kind of sent the car into a push.
Yeah, take a look at the replay here. Cam Downard out front. Good initiation into outside zone 1. Shorkey getting within a car there all the way through outside zone number 1. And this transition from 1 to 2 from Downard, maybe just a little slow. Big handbrake correction there. I think that might have been what choked Shorkey up. But maintaining outside zone 2 good, and then never really getting into outside zone 3, giving Shorkey the chance there to sneak up on the side of the Cressida. Giving you guys a chance there to look at the runs between Cam and Shorkey side by side. All right, the votes are in from the judges, and Shorkey is going to take the win there. Cam having that big deficit there from zeroing in his chase, going to be the ultimate reason. And on the track now, we have the one more time between Mo Alderman and Fred Maybach.
Stoneman trying his damnedest there for you guys at home to give you some motion sickness. Showing you all the great phases of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Doing great camera work down there for us. Mo Alderman out front of Fred Maybach. Oh, and a big check there on initiation from Alderman. Ends up going a little bit wide. Doesn't throw Fred off too bad there. Leaves outside zone 1 just a touch early. And Fred just trying his best to keep up with Mo through outside zone number 2 and into 3. Mo dropping a couple more tires as Fred follows.
Judging by just my driving experience and looking at this, it looks to me like Mo's car has so much grip that when he slows down to get into outside zone number 2, he gets back on it and it just drives the car out of it. Nice smooth transition there, though, from outside zone 1 to 2, and then just never quite getting into outside 2. But Fred in the chase dealing with it extremely well, maintaining that line behind him.
Lights go on, lights go out. Fred Maybach out in front of Mo Alderman now. Fred does a good job here in outside zone number 1, using all of it. Mo applying the pressure here into this power alley. Good transition from Mo. Fred just a touch wide into outside 2, but recovers very well. Mo, really good job in the chase here all the way through outside zone number 3. Lake Erie Speedway, put your hands together for Fred Maybach and Mo Alderman.
On the replay here, we have Fred Maybach with a very good initiation into outside zone number 1. Mo leaving maybe half a car between them. And you can see what I was saying before about Mo's car having so much grip. Every time he touches the gas, he just slams into the side of the E36. Through outside zone number 2, doing a very good job dealing with that line is Fred Maybach in the chase, filling all of outside zone number 2 and 3. And it shows because he has taken the win there unanimously over Mo Alderman. Fred Maybach will be moving on into top 16 tomorrow. Taking a look here at the comments on Facebook for the live stream, we have the S14 with hearts about Mo Alderman's car. That car is absolutely gorgeous. You have to see it in person. If you get a chance, walk over and take a look. Absolutely stunningly good job putting it together. One of the cleanest S14s on the property, I'm sure of it. Getting a nice overview shot here of the Speedway with the sun going down over the horizon. And what an absolutely amazing evening we've had for this. The weather is perfect. The track is perfect. Coming out on the track now, we have Vinny Coppola and Josh Leatherbarrow going to go for their one more time battle. All right, Vinny going to lead the way here in chase first for this one more time. Just waiting for the go-ahead to send these drivers.
All right, so make sure that you don't miss out tomorrow. Action going to get underway at 11 a.m. for the top 16 competition. As Vinny Coppola out front of Josh Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow falls to a big deficit on the run-up. As Vinny doing a good job here on outside zone number 1, just a touch shallow on outside zone number 1. misses outside zone number 2 by about a car as Leatherbarrow starts to close back in on the proximity. So a really big deficit for Leatherbarrow from the initiation as Vinny lays down a solid lead.
Taking a look here at the replay, we have Vinny out front. Good initiation into outside zone 1 and then maybe just driving his way out of it a little bit. But a 6-car gap or so opening up between the two into outside zone number 1 into 2 now. Vinny with a good transition but not quite getting all the way out there. Leatherbarrow checking up that line, trying to get back up close to the E36 to finish it out. Going to switch him around now. Leatherbarrow going to lead the way. There is safety out on track here, picking up a piece of someone's bumper, it looks like maybe. Or I believe that's actually a cone. Yep.
Tow truck making its way home as we'll be just about ready to send these guys. Caution lights go out on the tow truck. Brian gets ready to send them, and they're off. Leatherbarrow in front of Coppola. Leatherbarrow initiates into outside zone number 1, comes up short on outside zone number 1 as Vinny applies the pressure on the way out of outside zone number 1. Good transition here from Coppola in the chase position as Leatherbarrow does a great job on outside 2 and then dropping 1, maybe even 2 tires on outside 3.
All right, on the replay, we have Josh Leatherbarrow out front. Vinny in that E36 not giving him an inch there on initiation and then driving up to the side of Leatherbarrow's LS-powered BMW. Coming now from 1 to 2. Good transition by both drivers. Leatherbarrow getting into the beginning of that zone, but not quite filling it out. Now into outside zone number 3. Vinny maintaining maybe a 1-car gap between them there in chase all the way through that run. Taking a look here at the side-by-side, just giving the judges a moment to deliberate there between the runs. Vinny doing a great job there in chase. Absolutely adjusting for the line there of Leatherbarrow coming through outside zone number 2 and making his way there in chase.
And winner is in. Vinny Coppola will advance unanimously over Josh Leatherbarrow. And with that, our field of 16 for tomorrow is set. Vinny Coppola, the 16th and final driver into the top 16 in a one-more-time battle against Josh Leatherbarrow. So make sure that you don't miss out. You can catch all the action starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. right here, whether you're watching on Facebook or at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series YouTube page. Make sure that you tune in and don't miss out on any of the action as things are only going to heat up from here. We had a great evening. As we take a look at the bracket, you can see those 16 drivers that are locked in for the action tomorrow.
All right, on the screen now, you have everybody highlighted in yellow. We'll be moving on to our top 16 tomorrow afternoon.
That's going to conclude our coverage here of the top 32 portion of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series round number 3 bracket. As I said, make sure you don't miss out. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., right back where you're watching today. Bring a friend with you. If you're close enough, stop out to the track and get some of that sweet smoke inhalation with us. I'm Ben Bruno, signing off with Zach Snyder. Everybody have a beautiful night.